Hello, I know my room is dark, but I kind of like the lighting. It gives me sort of a mysterious look. Today we're going to talk about wokeness. I know a lot of the nation feels that people are. This is true. The nation feels that we're divided by race and by sex, and by that I mean there's basically a lot of anti-male discrimination going on, and a lot of anti-white discrimination going on. People have basically made certain groups feel that they're better than others, and by that I mean if you're a transgender, transgenders are placed on the top of the pyramid. If you're a straight guy, you're basically at the bottom of the pyramid. And that's an insane way for a society to function. They're basically trying to destroy the norms of society by saying the most marginalized person, which is going to be a transgender, or maybe a refugee from a war torn country, but basically a transgender, is like all the way at the top of the pyramid. They're somehow perfect, according to communist woke ideology. A person who's a refugee from some sort of war torn country is behind them, and then everybody else is lower on the bottom of the pyramid, including till you get to the bottom, and it's guys, especially straight guys, even masculine gay guys. So what I wanted to talk today is about yeah, there are ways that people can fight against this, and there are ways that people can legally fight against this. For example, there's a lot of concern about what's going on in the schools, indoctrination in the schools. Parents, teachers are encouraging children to change their names to the quote unquote opposite gender and live out a fantasy that they're the opposite gender behind the parents' backs, mind you. And this is completely illegal. And there are several things a parent can do, particularly if this has caused enough issues for your child to go to the psychiatrist. You've got a lot of psychological evidence. You can do a FOIL request and get like your school records and take that to a lawyer and simply sue the school. That's illegal, and some parents have done it. Alternatively, you've got to know those records. Schools aren't supposed to label children, and it is illegal to discriminate on children based on sex or sexual orientation. That's a Title IX violation. That for more details, go to my Patreon. But that's a Title IX violation where I have like details, greater details on what to do. But basically, if you have an evidence together like that, there are two options. You can file with a complaint with the United States Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights. They'll investigate and do something to remedy the situation. Or better yet, most states have laws against this sort of discrimination. You can't label kids and treat them differently based on their sexual orientation or their perceived sexual orientation. It's not the purpose of the school or the teacher to be putting these identities on your kids. So if you file with the state agencies in most states, they will investigate, and at the conclusion of the investigation, they'll refer you to a lawyer, and then you can sue the school, and then the school will be forced to stop this. Um, there are organizations that help people do this, like Parents Defending Education, Moms for Liberty, and they're individuals. One guy's name is Mark J. Perry. He's an economist. He's filed over 700 complaints with the U.S. Department of Education. I personally have filed, I think, 130 complaints with the U.S. Department of Education, but I filed an additional 400 complaints with New York State. And yes, I've got a bunch of victories. Um, I have to talk about them in other videos. Right now, this is just an introductory video and telling people on what I'm working on and how we can battle excessive wokeness, which is often illegal. Remember, these people, these activists, have no respect for any of our institutions or laws. They're really trying to wreck the entire society by dividing us on race and sex. And a lot of this is really based on things that we can't change. Like, it's true, European colonialism changed the world. And it's true, several Western European nations had huge colonial empires. Britain had the biggest, but France and Spain also had pretty big empires, and really so did Portugal and Holland. But we cannot go back in a time machine and undo the effects of colonialization. Colonialization also spread literacy and technology throughout the world. It spread better healthcare throughout the world. Not everything about colonialization is bad. Yes, people died or got enslaved, but what? We can't go back in a time machine to change this. So basically, because people don't like that there was colonialism, certain people don't like that there was colonialism. They basically want to tear down all of our functioning institutions. They really want to wreck education, law enforcement, the legal system, healthcare, everything. All because of what happened centuries ago, long before we were born. This was insane, and we have to stop these people. And one way that they're doing it is by a takeover of the education system, by teaching wokeness, by reducing children to just racial identities or sexual identities. Another way they've done it is a lot of the nonprofits that help you get into the film industry. They've taken them over, and if you look at some of the programs, and this is totally illegal, but in certain places you have to live as a woman to be accepted into the program. Meaning that if you want to get into this program, like the Blacklist in California is a program for like would-be writers, you have to be a transgender, and this is discrimination against straight men and masculine gay men. I mean, most men do not want to get breast implants. Most men do not want to cut off their penises and testicles. But this is definitely discrimination against men, illegal discrimination against men, and we don't have to stand for it. A number of the organizations I filed complaint against in New York have already opened up to both sexes and all sexual orientations. Like New York City had a program called New York City Film Fund, which $7 million a year supported upcoming artists. And for this, to get this support for your artistic program, you had to live as a woman. You had to be either a woman or a transgender, which was discrimination against men. I filed a complaint with the New York State Department of Human Rights, and now they've opened the program up to both men and women. Because, yes, it is illegal to discriminate against men. It is illegal to discriminate against white people. I filed a complaint against New York City. They had a program in which only black, Hispanic, and Asian men could get scholarships to go to CUNY for free to get a master's in education. Women didn't qualify, nor did white people, nor did Jewish people. So I filed a complaint there, and after the state investigated, this program was opened up to both sexes and all races. You can't discriminate, period. So please join me in the fight to battle systemic racism and sexism and to end wokeism. No race is a victim. No race is an oppressor. I mean, we're just all humans. So stop labeling people as oppressors and victims. That's all for now. Please subscribe, like, and share. And this is just me, my launch video, but I'll be doing a lot of others real soon. And I also write and do podcasts on Substack. But you can check me out on Patreon. And please subscribe on Patreon too, for those of you who really like this. But yeah, please help support the work. That's all for now.